In Circus Whispers, we let the artists do the talking. They share their experiences and insight from their creation process, their challenges, their achievements, their questions, their fun. But what about the other side of the table? In order for an audience to get to know these artists and their work, another person comes into play: the programmer. They choose the work carefully to present it to the audience. And in order to make those choices, they see enormous amounts of works. And I know. I used to be a programmer and artistic director for over 12 years. And what happens when you see that many shows, and I mean over 100 shows per year, you notice trends and waves in the circus field. So I thought it would be nice to start the 4th season with a programmer's perspective before we dive into the 6 makers of a week 2024. You'll hear in order of appearances Gwendolien Sabbe from the Spil and Grote Storingen in Roeselare, Belgium, Menno van Dyke, Artistic Director Circusstad Festival in Rotterdam, Wratten, Circus Producer in London, UK, Demet, Mad Festival Antwerp, Belgium, and Lotta Nevalainen, Circus Dance Info in Helsinki, Finland. Let's see what trends they see and how they relate to the work of the makers of a week from this year.
Well, in general, I see that circus artists apparently choose to make a whole lot of solos. That's, of course, great. Every artist should choose to make whatever they want to make. But as a programmer, sometimes it's very difficult to present a solo. To be really honest, a solo has to be really great to present it, because it's just you on the stage. So you have to be able to really get the attention of an audience for like a whole hour. And it's easier if you're in a group. So it's not always an easy choice for a programmer to present a solo.
What I've noticed is that there is definitely a trend to make work that is very personal to the artist and often politically engaged. People are making work that they have a certain urgency to make. It can be about their own personal life situation or about a topic that is important in society at the moment.
I think in terms of the UK, more and more is a kind of throwback to tented circus, actually. A lot of companies are investing in buying their own tent infrastructure and kind of looking more at the traditional model but making contemporary work within that. And I think that's trying to address some of the challenges of finding space or longer access to space around training and kind of creation infrastructure.
A lot of companies love to work with participation with audiences. I applaud that. I think it's very interesting. I see now Collective Maloney. They are working now on a big chapiteau show. We already saw that they worked with participation with the audience in their outdoor show. We agree. They want to explore that further in their new chapiteau show. I think they will do great with that. The same now, Camille Pesha is also working on a new show, also participation. She will use the audience to help her to do her act. I think that's very interesting. Yeah, I would love to see more of that.
What are trends that stand out to you?
I would say that technology is one of them, using technology as a part of, not only as a design, but really as a part of the performances. Then also questions of identity, a lot of questions of identity, especially the younger ones. I think it's one of the themes that somehow it's been around for some time. Of course, kind of questions around sustainability, climate change. So I think these three, for example, are something that come to my mind now very. Yeah, I think that the involvement of the audience, and there's been more, maybe the interaction, that there's somehow the circus maker has been searching for that interaction and getting involvement more than before.
I think it's a sector where there's a lot going on, there's a lot moving, there's a lot of interesting new work. But I'm not sure that I can pinpoint really a trend. I see a lot of young work, new work, which is orientated for venues, frontal, that's for sure one thing. There's a lot of solos as well, there's a lot of personal stories as well. The collectiveness in circus is still there, but it's sometimes I'm afraid it's fading away a little bit, maybe because of these trends.
Do you think it might have a practical reason as well, that you see more solos and frontal work?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely it's easier to travel and to sell your work if it's small, or if you're not traveling with a huge company and trailers and big tops and the works.
So a lot of personal stories about identity, solos, tented circus, maybe a bit less of the collectives, focus on technologies, and quite a big focus on interaction with the audience. And that's also on point with what's happening with the makers of a week this year. In the next episode, you'll hear about 2 solos focusing on technological challenges, quite a lot about searching for new ways to interact with the audience, and personal stories on identity, but also some surprising topics that are not part of a trend. But before you can hear those episodes, I asked Gwendolien and Menno what they would hope to see, and if they have a piece of advice for the makers for a week. Is there a trend you would hope would be the next trend?
Ooh, yes, absolutely. I really hope that artists will make the following trend happening. Please do make outdoor shows that you make especially for outdoor.
I find this always a little bit a difficult question, because I sometimes get this question from young circus artists that have just graduated or are about to graduate, and they ask me, what type of work would you like us to create or would you like to see? And then I always feel like I'm influencing them or pushing them in a certain direction. And I always tell them, I think it's not up to me to tell you what type of work I'd like to see. It's up to you to make the work that you have the urgency to make, because that's when you make the best work. So, and it's a bit the same with trends. When they ask me, should we follow trends? And you go like, well, if you really feel passionate about it and you have a great idea, yes, maybe. But in general, just, we're always looking out of the box in circus. This is what I love about circus, is that we're not trying to do the same thing over and over again. We're trying to look for new things. So what I often say is to, of course, on one side, there's the urgency that you have as a maker that you should definitely follow. In the same time, you also have to really not only think about your own personal ideas, but really think about that there is an audience that is going to watch this in the end. And I think this is the second thing, because this is a bit the trap that you can get into when you make something that is very personal to you, that you forget about translating that thing that is personal to you to an audience.
This was a bonus episode of the 4th season of Circus Whispers. Please subscribe to be the first to hear the new episodes. Thanks so much for listening.